Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel. And here are my predictions for this weekend's Premiership matches. Let's start with tonight's match. Nottingham Forest versus Tottenham. Well, Forest at the moment, they're not doing too well, are they? They are 16th at the moment. And of course there's talk of Steve Cooper losing his job. I can't understand why at this time that there's talk of him be facing the sack. Can't understand that. He did manage to keep Forest up last season. The way it's going, it looks like it's going to be a struggle for them again. I mean, last year, when they came up last year, they spent all sorts of money on players, hoping it would keep them up. It did, but this season's the same thing's going to happen again. Will Forest be dragged into a relegation fight? Well, if results don't start to improve for them, they will. And of course, Tottenham, they face a Tottenham team who've started to find out winning again. They beat Newcastle last weekend. I suppose everybody is getting excited. The Tottenham fans are going to start getting excited that I'm going to make a challenge for the Premiership. At the moment, of course, Forest at the moment, they are 16th and Tottenham are 5th. But knowing Tottenham, they'll probably, the start of the second half of the season in January, from January to the end of the season, they'll probably go on a losing run again. They'll probably lose another 5 games like they have done, and everybody will start to say, well, they won't finish in the top 4. You know, Tottenham, especially their fans, they get a little bit excited, the Tottenham fans do, of the thought of I mean, they did think they was going to be one of the teams to be challenging the Premier League this season, but I don't think so. The only good player they have is Son. If they took him out of the Tottenham team, then Tottenham wouldn't be in the top 6 at the moment. They'd probably be fighting to avoid relegation. But anyway, Forest have won 3, lost 8, whereas Tottenham have won 9, lost 4. This one I'm going to go for Tottenham. Forest 0, Tottenham 2. Bournemouth versus Luton. Well, Bournemouth had a great result, didn't they, last weekend, beating Manchester United 3-0. That was a shock result, mind you. At the moment, the way Manchester United are playing, anybody can beat them. And of course, Luton lost last weekend to Manchester City. Bournemouth at the moment are 14th and Luton are 18th. Bournemouth are one of these funny teams that they put a run of results together and then they win about 4 or 5 matches, and then the next they don't lose the next 5. That's probably what will happen to Bournemouth. Bournemouth have won 5, lost 7, whereas Luton have won 2, lost 11. I'm going to go for Bournemouth. Bournemouth 3, Luton 1. Chelsea versus Sheffield United. Well, Chelsea are in all sorts of mess. They are in all sorts of mess. The players they've got are just not good enough. Pochettino says he wants to bring in some players next month when the January transfer window opens. I don't know who he's got in mind, who he's going to try and bring in. What they need is a couple of strikers to put the ball in the net. That's what they want. But like I said, Chelsea at the moment, they're in a right mess. Results are not improving. I mean, Pochettino is another manager under pressure. I'm saying that he could be the next to be sacked. We shall see what happens in the new year. From January till the end of the season, see if the results improve then. Sheffield United, well, they won last weekend. Chelsea at the moment are 12th and Sheffield United are bottom. Chelsea have won 5, lost 7, and Sheffield Wednesday won 2, lost 12. You know, I think there's going to be a shock result here tomorrow. I think Sheffield United will beat Chelsea. I really do. And if that happens, there's going to be even more pressure on Pochettino to, you know, I think it's going to happen. I think Sheffield United will win tomorrow. I'm going to go for Chelsea 0, Sheffield United 1. I think that'll be the shock result of the day. Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. Well, City won last weekend. They beat Luton, and Crystal Palace, they lost to Liverpool. City at the moment are 4th and Crystal Palace are 15th. City have won 10, lost 3. Crystal Palace have won 4, lost 8. I think this is going to be a close match. Can't see Manchester City scoring many goals in this. I can't see them beating Crystal Palace 5 or 6-0. I think it's going to be a close match. I'm going to go for Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 1. Crystal Palace won't make it easy for Manchester City, but City will just have enough about them with the quality players they've got to just get over the line and beat Crystal Palace. Newcastle versus Fulham. Well, it's not been a very good week, has it, for Newcastle? They lost to Tottenham last weekend, and they were knocked out of the Champions League by AC Milan the other night. Oh dear. For all the money Newcastle have got, it didn't do much good. Of course, all the whoopering and hollering, and for all when they beat PSG in September, when they beat them 4-0, I think the Newcastle fans were believing that they were going to go on and win it. But not to be. Sorry, Newcastle, it was not to be. As Fulham, well, they've had the last 2 games, they've had 2 5-0 wins, haven't they? And of course, Newcastle, going back to Newcastle, they've got injury problems. Would it have made any difference the other night if they'd had their injury, their players fit? Would they still have got knocked out? They probably would have got through. But sorry, Newcastle, it wasn't to be. Your Champions League adventure has come to an end. The way it's going this season, I can't see Newcastle finishing in. Well, they might finish 6th. They'll probably be, if they do finish 6th, they'll be in the Europa League next season. That's more, I think, they're more suited to that than the Champions League, because it's. I'm afraid to say Newcastle, it's going to be a long, long time before you get your hands on the Premiership or the Champions League. It's going to be a long, long while. Like I said, Fulham, they've had 2 excellent results of late. Newcastle have won 8, lost 6. Fulham have won 6, lost 7. This one I'm going to go for Newcastle 0, Fulham 2. I'm going to go for a Fulham win. Burnley versus Everton. Well, Burnley are 19th and Everton are 17th. It looks like Burnley will be going back into the Championship again next year, I think, come next May. I can't see them staying in the Premiership. It's going to be a struggle for them. They haven't got the players to keep them in the Premiership. Everton, well, they won their last few games. Despite the 10-point deduction, I'm certainly sticking it to the big wigs in the Premier League. In other words, I'm sticking the 2 fingers up to them. Burnley have won 2, lost 12. Everton have won 7, lost 7. This one, I think I'm going to go for Burnley 1, Everton 2. Arsenal versus Brighton. Well, Arsenal are 2nd and Brighton are 8th. Of course, Arsenal got through the knockout stage of the Champions League the other night. Brighton also got through to the Europa League knockout stages as well. Arsenal have won 11, lost 2. Brighton have won 7, lost 4. And of course, Arsenal lost last weekend to Villa. This one I'm going to go for 1. Brighton 1. Brentford versus Aston Villa. Well, Brentford 11th and Villa are 3rd. Villa are having a great season, aren't they? With Uriah Emery at there. Of course, he was sacked by Arsenal. Didn't work out for him there, but it's certainly working out for him at Villa. Could Villa be played in the Champions League next year? With the way that things are going, they might look like they will. Brentford have won 5, lost 7. Villa have won 11, lost 3. I'm going to go for Brentford 0, Villa 2. I'm going to go for Villa to win 2-0. West Ham versus Wolves. West Ham are 9th and Wolves are 13th. West Ham have won 7, lost 6. Wolves won 5, lost 7. I'm going to... West Ham at the moment are a bit up and down. David Moyes is another manager who's under pressure to get results. There's 1 or 2 murmurs coming out of West Ham about his position. I don't know why, because he's doing such a... he's a good manager, he's David Moyes. He's not a kind of manager who can go to a big club and win things, but he's doing all right at West Ham. West Ham have won 7, lost 6, where Wolves won 5, lost 7. This one I'm going to go for a draw. West Ham 1, Wolves 1. And finally, the big game Sunday, Liverpool versus Man United. Liverpool top, and of course Man United is 6. I don't know how. Liverpool beat Crystal Palace last week, and of course Manchester United lost to Bournemouth. I don't know how much longer Erik ten Hag is going to be there. I think, they were knocked out of the Champions League the other night by Bayern Munich, and I think if they lose, well, the way they're playing, they'll probably lose again Sunday, and if that happens, I think it'll be the end for Erik ten Hag. I mean, in the paper, yesterday's paper, they were talking about Graham Potter going there. Oh, no, I don't. It won't suit him. It won't work. If Graham Potter went there, just like Chelsea, he didn't survive long at Chelsea, did he? So if he goes there, he's going to be even under more pressure. If he gets the job at Manchester United, which I don't think, I'll be very surprised if he does. I don't think the Manchester United fans will want him anyway. But, and of course there's a talk of a takeover and new owners coming in, but you know what these new owners are like? They want somebody, they go for him, and we all know what happens. It never works out. Graham Potter is more suited to a team like managing Crystal Palace. I think if he went there, he'd do all right there. But a big club like Manchester United is out of his depth. Liverpool have won 11, lost 1, whereas Man United have won 9, lost 7. Could this be another 7-0 like it was last season? I don't think so. I think it'll probably be another heavy defeat for Man United. I'm going to go for Liverpool 4, Man United 0. Well, that's the end of my predictions for this weekend's Premiership matches. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all again in another video.